Mollusca and Arthropoda by Jordan Diaz. Arthropoda, shown on the left, are also known as crustaceans, arachnids, and insects. Mollusca, shown on the right, are also known as snails, oysters, clams, octopuses, and squids. Organisms in the phylum. Spiders and crabs, shown on the left, are members of the phylum Arthropoda, and octopuses and snails, shown on the right, are members of the phylum Mollusca. The body symmetry of both arthropods and mollusks are very simple. They are bilaterally symmetrical, which means their left and right side are mirror copies of each other. Reproduction. All mollusks reproduce sexually. However, slugs and snails are hermaphrodites, meaning they have both reproductive organs called gonads. This means that the snails shown on the left could be fertilizing each other's eggs. Mollusks then lay eggs and they hatch later. Arthropods reproduce sexually with the same reproductive organs called gonads. They transfer sperm using spermatophores or sperm-sealed packets. It can be internally placed from the start or externally placed, in which the female picks it up later. This applies to both terrestrial and marine arthropods. Arthropods lay eggs which hatch later, with the exception of some spiders. Cephalization is the concentration of sense organs in the anterior end of the body, which forms a head of sorts. Many bivalve mollusks, such as oysters, clams, and mussels, show no cephalization. However, appropriately named cephalopods, like octopuses shown on the left, do show cephalization. On the other hand, all arthropods show cephalization. What types of feeders are in these phyla? Most mollusks are herbivores and eat plants and algae. Some, like squids and octopuses shown on the top left, are predators and eat fish, which makes them carnivorous. Mollusk snails are omnivorous, which is a combination of the two, shown on the bottom left. Mollusks such as clams are filter feeders, meaning they strain the water around them for food particles. Arthropods, on the other hand, have a much wider feeding range. Many arthropods are carnivores that feed on other animal prey. These include spiders, mites, as well as some beetles, ants, and centipedes. Many arthropods are herbivores, like caterpillars, cicadas, and mole crickets. Some arthropods are decomposers, like springtails and some mites that feed off fungus. Lastly, some are detrivores, meaning they feed off dead plant matter. The most abundant of these are millipedes, termites, roaches, and bugs. Special structures for feeding/hunting. All mollusks utilize a radula in their mouth, shown on the left, which is a structure composed of tiny teeth which is used to scrape food particles or algae into their digestive systems. This structure is unique to mollusks. Some arthropods, like spiders, shown on the right, have a specialized hunting structure called venom-producing glands behind their mouth parts. It produces a deadly venom that is injected into its prey when the spider bites. This helps in hunting as it can either paralyze or kill the prey. How do mollusca digest? It's pretty simple and goes in a straight line. In this example, we'll be using a snail. First, the snail eats something like a plant with the help of its radula. It enters the mouth and then enters the stomach. Before being digested, parts that won't be utilized are sent through the intestines straight to the anus to be excreted. When digestion is over and all the nutrients are absorbed, all the waste products end up being excreted through the anus. How do arthropoda digest? Arthropods' digestive systems vary widely considering the wide range of foods arthropods eat. This model shows how it generally works for all arthropods. First, food enters the mouth and enters the alimentary canal, which consists of the foregut, midgut, and hindgut. They are all lined with cuticle except the midgut. The midgut is where most of the digestive enzymes are released onto the food. Nutrients are absorbed and the waste materials go through the hindgut and are excreted through the anus. Cells, tissues, and organs that aid digestion. Both arthropods and mollusks share some digestive organs, like the mouth, stomach, intestine, and anus. These are all made up of epithelial cells and tissue, as well as connective tissue. However, only arthropods have the alimentary canal, which is made up of epithelial cells and tissue. They both use different kinds of enzymes, like protease, lipase, and amylase, to break down food, just to name a few. Where do they live? Phylum Mollusca are mostly aquatic and inhabit marine and freshwater environments, but some are terrestrial and live in forests and shorelines. phylum Arthropoda are aquatic and terrestrial, living in both marine and various terrestrial habitats, like tropical rainforests, forests, and deserts, to name a few. What do these phyla have in common? To start, they are both invertebrates, and many of them can be found in ocean environments, shown on the left. They also both have protective outer coverings. They both have mouths and a digestive system, where waste is excreted through the anus. They both reproduce sexually. They are also the two top largest phylums that consist of invertebrates. What contrasts the two phyla? Arthropods have joined appendages, shown on the left, while mollusks have none. Arthropods have a hard exoskeleton for structure and protection, while mollusks are soft-bodied and might only have a shell for protection, like the snail shown in the middle. Unlike mollusks, some arthropods have wings and the ability to fly, like butterflies, as shown on the right. What do these two organisms have in common? The firefly squid on the left and the brown recluse spider on the right are very different but do share some characteristics. They both have eyes and show cephalization in their heads. They are both carnivores, and they also have the same lifespan of around 1 to 2 years. What contrasts these two organisms? First, they live in different environments. The firefly squid is aquatic and the brown recluse is terrestrial. The spider can weave webs and produce venom, and the squid cannot. The firefly squid can make ink and also produce its own light, while the spider cannot.